What do you say, everybody? Welcome to Elephant in the Room, Roll Tide. We are closing in on football practice starting, and this edition of the Alabama Crimson Tide taking the field against Florida State in one of the most anticipated matchups in the history of the world, known as the Coker Bowl. So we're going to talk about that on the show today. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. We're brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Let's play the man's open. What do you say, everybody? With Jake Coker, I'm Mick Gillispie.
We're sitting here talking about making this podcast more presentable, where I'm not, sitting in my office with this white background and just upping the production level a little bit with building a man cave, a little podcast studio at my house. Having said, if I do all that, which I am doing all that intro's got to change.
Let's go ahead and start thinking about changing the intro. What do you want? Something that's a little more hard hitting, like match your personality.
I mean, good Lord, what?
It matches. That intro matches your haircut. Wait a second. Wait, let me take that back. I see you got a little Fair Hope flip going in the back there. So it's your old haircut.
I
can't wait. You're in the process of building a studio, really redesigning your house and having a studio is one of the things I'm excited for you to do. And for me, I get it, man. I'm on the road right now, like half my life's on the road. So it's nice when you get kind of your own place and can kind of sit back and make it look and have guests over and stuff. So that'll be fun. When we get together in person, the shows, you and I both like the shows better, but they always go like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah. And,
format.
When I first sat down with the next round guys, they're like, "Hi, we want you to do a show with Mick Gillispie." And I know we had met at Atlanta, but when I was like, at that point, I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to like this guy,
Thank you.
now I'm investing in a podcast studio.
Is that why you never got back to me?
You got me.
I was wondering if your phone was broken. You've gotten. I know this isn't the way we were going to start the show, but definitely kudos, man, because you've gotten. I didn't ever thought you were bad, but you've gotten really, really, really good at this. So it's. I guess in that aspect. I mean, if you're going to make an investment, it's like it might as well be something that you're good at and you like doing.
Yeah.
And I know for me personally, I laugh a lot. So even when I'm not there in person, it's still pretty fun.
Well, you'll be able to hear me better and see me better a little bit, I guess. It'll be more like we're in person than we're on like a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now?
Now look at mine. I got a little curtain back here, All right. Well, let's get to the meat of the conversation here, because I know that we both got to get moving. And I know that the people at home are going, wait a second. Are you telling me that Bama has the 7th best odds to win the national championship? You might need to ride over to the Timeout Sports Lounge, Pearl River Resort, Golden Moon Casino, because a lot of people feel like that's pretty low. So that means there's 6 teams that people feel like the Vegas feels like have a better chance to win the national championship. And I just don't know if I agree with that.
I mean, I feel like do we have the talent? Yes, we do. Do we have the experience? I'm not sure. There's still some guys around that played for Coach Saban that were a part of maintaining that culture of winning at Alabama, but are they ready to get to that next level and actually distribute that thought, that tradition, that standard that it takes. I don't know yet. I mean, you've got analysts that are saying that's a great bet to make, for guys that are already betting on college football right now. For me, I'm not ready to go there yet. Now, and the reason I'm not ready to go there yet is just because of it being Kalen DeBoer's second year. And it's kind of like when Mike talks about not having your goals set high enough, just making it to the SEC championship. Do we have that belief that we are a national championship contender yet? And look, you can say it all you want to. You can say that all you want to in podcasts, to the media, and your best players can say that, but is that a uniform ideal shared amongst the entire locker room yet? And I don't know if we're there yet. So, I'm not big on preseason predictions. I think, talent only takes you so far. Mentality and leadership brings you across the finish line. And do we have the pieces together for good leadership? I think so. But your leader's got to perform under pressure on the field. And so I want to see that through the first 5-6 weeks before I'm ready to say, yeah, we got that mentality. We're ready to go.
And it's obvious that these guys want to win a championship. I mean, I was there for your podcast at the floor Bama, you and Ryan. And it felt like to me, like, hey, they were asking you guys a lot of questions about what it was like to win a national championship. So at least they're thinking championship. But there's also a method to that too. You guys, when Coach Saban was there, you worked really hard the entire year to get to that point, to be ready, to be just a little bit better. The crazy thing about success is if you have a great team, like let me give you an example. 2016 Alabama. I think one of the best teams I ever saw. And they get to the championship game and they lose on that pick play at the very end. And everybody remembers Clemson. And I think Alabama was better. I mean, it's had some bad breaks, some missed opportunities. They got a couple good breaks. You work all year just to try to give yourself a little advantage when you're in that situation like this. Because at the end of the day, 2015 Alabama had a battle too and beat Clemson. And it feels like this.
Yeah.
Right? But in actuality, it's this. Two great teams, right? That's the way that this goes. But you guys had the breaks. You got a little bit of luck, the onside kick, the kick return. That they got a couple extra breaks. They got away with a pick play at the end of that game the next year. And it's just,
hang on. Whoa. I don't know if I'm calling those breaks now.
What's that?
I mean, hey, Adam put that onside kick where it needed to be. Been practicing it for a month, 2 months.
Yeah. Look, but you understand what I'm saying. It's not. I'm not downplaying either the 2016 team compared to the 2015 team. I'm just saying that the way that we perceive greatness is just win by one, and at the end of the day, it feels like this. Even though in actuality, 2016 Alabama was a great team, one of the best defenses I've ever seen, but they lost, and it feels like this. And that's what I'm saying about this program. Like, to get back to the point where.
But here's the thing there. I mean, and college football, or really football at any level, I mean, you never know when the smallest mistake is going to cost you a game.
Yeah.
I mean, Clemson, they lose contain on Kenyon Drake. I guess, I'm not a special teams guru, but, you stay in your lane, you keep contained, you do what you're supposed to do, then that doesn't happen. That onside kick, I mean, if if it's not for Coach Saban and the coaching staff seeing the way that Dabo, aligns on kick return, which to me that's a coaching mistake. You're out leveraged, and Coach Saban saw it, and it's a gimme. Like, I mean, these little mistakes, and that's just a lack of preparation and a lack of understanding of what a kickoff team can do to you. And it's all these little things that add up. I mean, 2 mistakes by them that cost them the game, where Coach Saban, Coach Saban and the coaching staff, and there's a million other little plays that took place that made a huge difference. We're just, highlighting those because you brought them up. But, I mean, you think Dabo ever did that again with that kind of alignment? I haven't gone back and looked, but I'm willing to put a lot of money on the fact that he probably has not done that again with those guys so tight. And I guarantee you the next year going into that national championship against us again, I would be willing to bet a lot of money that they practice kickoff and special teams a lot more. And so, you find another team's weakness, you exploit it, and that's what Coach Saban's the best at doing. And you had a returner in Kenyon Drake who capitalized on a mistake, got outside, their contain and scored a touchdown. I mean, it's those little things that, whether it's just natural born talent, Kenyon Drake on that return, or preparation by Coach Saban and the coaching staff, that wins big games like that. And it's consistency over the entirety of a year. Sometimes you're talented enough to make up for those mistakes you make. But when you're in a national championship game, those little things are, I mean, highlighted, throughout history. How many times have you seen that kickoff return on Twitter or on TV?
Or on Daniel Moore, by the way, that the statue.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot make those mistakes. And I remember in that first half against Clemson, do not turn the ball over. Like, I mean, because you turn the ball over, especially in your own territory against that team. Yeah, that's almost an automatic 7 points. And there's a balance there. Sometimes you get. I was probably a little bit too conservative, but I mean, in the end, it was not enough mistakes to get beat. And so. I mean, again, it's those little things, those detail-oriented things then it's having guys hold you accountable, like the Marlon Humphrey story we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago. I mean, you got guys willing to beat the shit out of a teammate because he's not practicing all out or not practicing up to his ability.
Right, and that was my entire point. It's like, you could be great, but how do you become elite, right? How do you go from being good to great to excellent to elite, right? And elite to me is championship level, right? And winning a championship, because you're going to get to a group of teams that all have a lot of talent, but who's willing to put the work in to get to be the last team standing? And you're going to play a lot of teams on the schedule that you should just beat when you're at Alabama, because you're going to have better talent.
Yeah.
That space has gotten a little smaller because of NIL, but we're still doing great talent-wise. Maybe we don't have the depth that we had before, but we got a lot of talent. I hope that I've heard that it's been a really hard offseason for these guys, and I hope that's the case, because if they want to live up to the Alabama legacy, it's that you got to win a championship. And the way you win championships, Bear Bryant won a bunch of them, Nick Saban won a bunch of them. And what do you have in common is that those players were willing to do what you said, basically go above and beyond to win. Fourth quarter program, off season, hey, look, we're all pulling. You don't want to play here. We're gonna beat the shit out of you today if you bring that effort, because that energy is bringing us all down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you look like that made that player better. He's one of the best in the NFL right now, right? And he's the guy now probably saying that to his teammates. Hey, this is the standard. That's what Alabama's always been. Last year didn't feel like that to me. They didn't feel disciplined last year. Didn't feel like when I'm watching the guy run the interception back on Milroe, that Milroe's effort was an effort that was up to the standard that was set at Alabama. And he'd probably agree with that right now. These guys all, at the end of the season, go to the Senior Bowl, talk to all these guys. What are they saying? We let everybody down. We feel disappointed. We didn't do our best. For them to be able to win it all and to cash in on this bet right here, by the way, 7th best odds, they're going to have to do those things. And you're right. Unless we're standing there, we don't know if this group's going to bring that back to the table.
Yeah, and I say it all the time. I mean, teams that, Alabama. People used to ask me all the time about whether we're going to win the national championship. This is Coach Saban's, I guess the last 7 years of his career at Alabama, or whenever I got done playing, and I was like, I mean, we'll make it to the playoff. We're good enough to do that, and overcome some of our weaknesses. But the leadership determines whether you're going to, go deep or not. And sometimes there just are better teams. I mean, that is, that's just a fact. There sometimes are just better teams, but leadership is always was always the determining factor back then, and whether you won or not, and how selfless everybody was. I felt like, there's nothing better than playing on a team where there's really nobody you can point to and say, man, that guy's all about himself. I mean, he enjoys watching his teammates succeed as much as himself, or more than himself, I don't know, man. Coach Saban did a hell of a job creating that atmosphere. It was really unbelievable the way he did it, and led by example the whole way through. And again, it's a new era. Kalen DeBoer's got a different approach, but I think the way he's doing it in this era of college football, you don't lose a single guy to the transfer portal between was it December and now? Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
And you're recruiting like crazy. People are excited. People are excited to be there. And I'm not in that building, but the numbers and the roster speaks for itself. You can tell it's a magnetic type atmosphere. People want to be there. The campus alone is awesome, but you can tell there's some high powered recruiting and coaching going on in there, and the culture seems to be going in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. I like Kalen DeBoer too, and
I think it falls. I think it falls perfectly in place with Ty being there for 3 years, going on his 4th year, stuck around. I don't know how you don't respect that. As a guy in the locker room.
Yep.
Guy that could have left and has the talent to play somewhere else, has the mentality to play somewhere else if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
I think he's got the locker room has to have his back. Again, I don't know how you don't. Do I think 7th in betting odds is it's probably a little high given the circumstances, but would I be surprised if we won? Absolutely not. Or finished lower than 7th, or better than 7th. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Hey guys, we're brought to you by our friends at Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City. Back to back coastal style hotel of the year. This place is gorgeous. Our guy Keith down there is a big Bama fan, and he wants you guys to come and bring him a little bit of that Roll Tide spirit. But awesome place, great seafood, whether you like crab cakes, whether you like fish, whether you like sunsets, whether you like the boardwalk, Secrets Bar, a bunch of other amazing restaurants. Ocean City in Maryland's where we used to go for spring break, and you guys will love it there. I can't wait to go check it out. Our buddies at the Next Round, they actually went out there and did their show and couldn't talk about how awesome the place was enough. So check it out. All right, Coach Prime. Dealing with bladder cancer, which is really, really sad. I was surprised by this. Like, I like Coach Prime. And I was just like, I saw him talking about that, and I was like, man, I had no clue. The guy coached right through it.
Yeah. I mean, you can say what you want to say about Coach Prime, but and some of the things, I mean, I don't agree with some of the things that I saw at Colorado, you know, the shenanigans before and after games and all that. I mean, but you got to respect the hell out of Coach Prime for, I mean, I like,
And
I like
it's
Deion a
Blatter,
lot.
not Blatter. That's the kind of hard-hitting graphics you get on this show, by the way.
I mean,
Yeah.
I look at some of that stuff, and again, it's kind of to each his own to me. But I've always respected and liked Coach Prime a lot. I mean, this is just the mental toughness this guy has, and the to me the example he sets for his kids, his players. I mean, he's got to be one of the most mentally tough people around, playing dual sport athlete in the pros, not just college. Being one of the best football players, athletes of all time. Now becoming a coach, rising in the ranks. He's got half his foot cut off, bladder cancer now, bladder removed, and still fighting to coach when he doesn't need to. I mean, the guy could ride off into the sunset. I know he's got plenty of money, but just driven. And man, you got to respect that. And what an example for his kids and everybody around him. Just to keep fighting, and been a hell of a dad, obviously, to his children. I mean, set them up and tried to lead them along, no matter what you think of again some of what you've seen on the field, or whether you're a big fan of Shador or not. I mean, you got to appreciate and respect what Coach Prime's been through, and just the way he's led his kids and lifted his kids up. I mean, what an example.
Yeah, I like him too. Guys, the last thing on today's show is Bill Belichick at UNC. 71 new players coming
That's
coming
what
to the Tar Heels.
I saw that story, or maybe I heard it on the radio, and I was just thinking, I mean, maybe his NFL experience will allow him to. I can't wait to watch North Carolina this year because of Bill Belichick, but this adds a whole new obstacle here, and adds a new realm of interest for me. Like I said, maybe his NFL experience will allow him to succeed with 71 new guys. But I cannot imagine trying to figure out how to make 71 new faces an organized football program. I mean, guys that have never been around this system, figuring out who their coaches are, let alone the new playbooks, the adjustments, everything else, the lingo. That is going to be one interesting team to watch, throughout the season. I imagine the first part of the season is going to be pretty rough, and they'll probably kind of come together later on. But I mean, can you imagine managing 71 new faces, no matter what realm of business you're in, just 71 new hires, and this isn't some some profession where you just throw them out there and they'll figure it out. I mean, if they're not on the same page, it's going to be pretty ugly. And so I'm interested to watch this, see how it plays out. College football nowadays is just wild. Yeah. I mean, you used to have 85 guys on scholarship, and I imagine that 71 new players, I'm guessing those are scholarship guys. And I don't even know, is 85 still the number? Is that still the regulatory number for scholarships nowadays?
I think it is. But here's the thing. They're going to have less players because with this new system, if they got to pay everybody, you know what I mean? Like, you'll have less players and you'll pay them more money. Now, there is the thing that President Trump signed that in essence gets rid of pay for play. If this holds, it's going to be great because that gets rid of basically what's going on right now, and you get back to having it as a more amateur feeling venue, right? And I hope that it happens.
Well, I wonder what the contracts look like in the ACC versus the SEC. Like, I wonder what the return is, for these teams that are in the ACC with their TV contracts and everything else, how it's shared amongst schools. That has got to be a real pain point for these teams in the ACC, because I can't imagine it's even close to what the SEC or the Big Ten is. And when you're looking at divvying up money for players or athletes across all different sports, I mean, I imagine you're looking at that balance sheet like, man, we got to figure something out here, because there's no way we're going to be able to compete in the ACC versus the SEC or the Big Ten. I mean, right? That's something I have to look into for next show. But I mean, that's a problem that they probably never even thought about addressing until now.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. Hey guys, you want to look good at the games this year? You go to the Coker Bowl in Tallahassee. You want to show off your Alabama style and love? Go to Roback. Use our promo code Crimson20. And you'll get 20% off polos, pullovers, all the Alabama gear. But if you don't want that, they've got a bunch of other great stuff there too as well. And you'll look awesome on the golf course. And you're not going to beat that code. And you're not going to beat the wear of this Roback gear. You're a huge Roback guy.
Yeah, especially college football season rolls around and it starts cooling off a little bit. That hoodie is going to be a no-brainer. It's going to be your favorite thing. It's going to be the favorite thing you own. It's going to be the favorite thing you own.
That was my favorite draft pick when we got the Roback box and had our draft on here. Remember that? That was pretty awesome. All right, guys, look, the last thing I want to tell you is that we're presented by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. They make the show happen. And we want you to know that it's an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. It's not far from really anywhere in the state of Alabama, but it's like going to Vegas. It's a short trip. They got everything you need. Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino. They're connected by a sky bridge. Then they've got Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, which is right there. You can actually stay in the clubhouse at Dancing Rabbit. You get a golf cart, drive over, do the table games and slots. Pick Bama to win it all this year at the Timeout Sports Lounge, or bet on a bunch of whatever you want. They got it all. 20 big screen TVs in there, full-size bar. You got Mom and Them's restaurant. If you're going like American kind of casual, maybe you want to go high-end steakhouse, and that's Philip M's, which is amazing. The water park's going right now, the lazy river and all the slides, the spa. They got you covered over at Pearl River Resort. Us two will be there soon. We'll let you know when, but you go on your own and tell us what you think. Roll Tide, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will talk to you again soon. Oh, and the last thing is Cover Crimson Podcast Network. If you can't watch the show, but you want to listen, they'll be uploaded there, plus Clint Lamb and my show as well. So check it out. Roll Tide.
To Pearl River Resort.